what I'm going to talk about tonight, this is not just for the fitness industry. This is for all business, okay? These are principles that are going to help all businesses, not just fitness-based businesses. Now, of course, that is my niche. That is what I started in. That is what I am the most passionate about. I do feel that if you use these principles, that they will absolutely help you in whatever you do. I know she is, Joel. Very happy for her. I've actually had a few of her clients reach out to me and say that she's retiring and they need somebody to help coach them. I am way too busy, but I do have people that I strongly recommend. One person in particular, Billy Gagliardo. But congratulations to Coach K. So happy for her. She waited a long time. I believe the saying is she kissed a lot of toads before she met her prince, but she is super happy. And that makes me very happy. She is a very special person to me. And there are not too many people that understand me the way that she does, and I love that about her. So at this point, I think everybody's on. So before I get into this discussion, for those of you who don't know me, now there's plenty of people on here who do know me, right? If you don't know who I am, why should you listen to me? Why should you listen to this random guy, hello Mayor, talking about how to make money on social media? Why should you listen to me? Well, I'm going to give you guys a brief background on what I've done and where I started, and you can decide from there where you want to go. So I graduated high school in 1999. I did not know what I wanted to do with myself other than bodybuild. I was passionate about bodybuilding. So as a young man, I wanted to go to school. I knew that I wanted to be involved in business and run a business. I came from what would be considered by many people to be a poor family. We really were not poor. We were, I guess you would consider us like lower middle class or upper lower class. I came from a divorced family, and my mom worked multiple jobs to make ends meet. She fell in love with my stepdad, who is the guy that I call my dad in all the videos, hi, Michelle Amber, who is also the head of sales at Blackstone Labs. He's a tremendous man. And at this point, I always say that I strive my hardest to be the man that my stepdad was. He worked multiple jobs to make ends meet for my family because he loved my mom so much. You don't really see too many stories like that these days. Now, will this video be available later? Yes, I will share it to my story, and we'll see what we can do about sharing this. So here's the deal. Why should you listen to me? Why should you listen to this guy that is a bodybuilder and has Blackstone Labs? So let me break it down to you guys. When I first got out of school, I started working for Pepsi as a sales merchandiser. Now, I knew the pretty big wig at Pepsi. I was good friends with his son, and he got me a job as a sales merchandising rep for Pepsi. So what did I do? I drove around to stores and I set up displays and I negotiated with store managers on how to get better product placement, better signage, things like that for Pepsi. I learned a lot of very important things by doing that. Now, one of the most important things that I learned was the importance of relationships, meeting people, kissing their asses, so to speak. And I used that money to pay for my college. I did not have family that could help me with that. And I didn't have really a good enough grades in school. I was very smart in school, but I did not do enough to be able to get student loans and things like that. So I had to pay my own way. There are many people that have done that. Now, I busted my ass and I learned a lot. And then I went to school as a business major. I didn't really know what else I was going to do with myself. Now, I fell in love with a guy named Rene Abreu, who was the first real bodybuilder that I had ever met, and he was truly brilliant. To this day, I say he was so far ahead of the game, and he had a customized degree. He now is married. He lives out in California. He and his wife, I believe, have a physical rehabilitation center, and they do quite a bit, but I had never met anyone like him. He taught me much of what I know about bodybuilding. Now, before I go any farther in this is my home office, guys. Before I go any farther, I want to explain to you. I see a lot of people say, like, you don't need to go to college. I'm like, fuck college. And I'm not putting Forex down at all, but a lot of the Forex people, they're, I'm sitting at home making money and I didn't have to go to college and this and that. The number one thing that you should not do is bash other people on their educations, because education is something that when you have it, you have accomplished it, you have it for life. Now, does that mean you're gonna go and make good money? Absolutely not. In fact, it is actually sad to me. It is sad to me that so many people that have impressive educations, really the ones that make me the most sad are the teachers and the nurses, really, that go to all of that school, and they really don't get paid as much as what many people can make on OnlyFans. And we're not gonna bash OnlyFans. I'm gonna get into a lot of discussion on OnlyFans at the end of this also. So when I got out of school, and I will say now that a lot of people don't know this, I don't talk about it a lot, but I did drop out of school. I remember the day that I dropped out of school. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I will get a little graphic for you guys because I'm a graphic guy and I don't mind doing that. Perhaps I'll censor it just a little bit. But I remember sitting in school and thinking to myself how much I wish that I was in the gym training. And I was in a class, I was in a theme writing class. And I was staring around and I was looking at this very gothic looking girl. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder what it would be like having sex with that girl. She looks very angry and mad at the world. And I kept staring at her. And then she looked at me and gave me a dirty look. And at that moment, I looked out the window, I stared outside, and I said to myself, I gotta go outside and start making money. So I knew that I was good at training and that I wanted to be a bodybuilder. So I went online at home. I went on a website called Vistaprint. And for $4.99, I made myself 500 business cards. I came up with the name Braun Fitness, which you guys will still see me use as a hashtag, right? And I started my personal training business. Now, what I did was I would go up to people in the gym, and I had a pretty, I think, wise method of the way that I would approach people. What I would say to them was, hey, instead of saying, hey, you're not doing that right, or, oh, this is not the right form, or your form is no good, I would go up to people and I would say, excuse me, I noticed that you're doing this exercise. It's a great exercise. I would love to show you a different or perhaps better way to do it. And most of the time people would be like, sure. And then I would show them and they'd be like, wow, I like that. And then I would actually leave. Now, so for this point, people would often be like, okay, well, this guy wasn't trying to sell me anything. Perhaps I should ask him more questions. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because going out and taking initiative is one of the most important things that you can do as a business owner, running a business, creating whatever enterprise that you want to create. You've got to take the initiative to go out and make the relationships. Now, fast forward to about a year or so later, I was training about 8 to 10 people a day. I was busting my ass. And at the time, this is going back to the early 2000s, I was charging about $40 or $50 a session. So at this point, I realized, okay, what can I do now to make more money other than increase my percentage or my dollar amount per session, which I did. And I still was busting my ass to make 8 to 10 sessions a day. I was trying so hard to be a pro bodybuilder. That was my dream. I was reading as much as I could to educate myself, because teaching yourself and practical knowledge is the most valuable skill set that you can possibly have. So as I was doing all that, I thought to myself one day, this is the most money that I can make. I can't make any more money than training these 8 to 10 people a day. It is taking away from my workouts. And I then came up with the idea, and I will get into the story perhaps another time, of how I got into online training. And it was very inspired by Dave Palumbo, who was my online coach. And I started training people online. Now, many people realize that you can't just train people online. So what I was doing was I used my own money, and I traveled to every single national level show in the United States. I slept on floors. I have pictures of the floors that I slept on. I will post some of those if you guys think I'm bullshitting you. But I was a young man just trying to fucking get by. I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a sponsor paying me at the time. So I did what I had to do. I had a vision in my mind of where the money would be. And my vision was women. Now, why was my vision women? I'm going to give you guys 2 reasons why. Number 1, I didn't see anybody training women. I just didn't do it. I didn't see it. There was one guy doing it. He goes by the name of Kimoto. A lot of you guys know who he is. He was the only one that was doing anything. And he had hundreds and hundreds of clients. So I thought to myself, okay, this guy's the only guy doing that. And I see a big, big market for this. Now, bikini was not even invented yet, guys. There was just figure. So my whole thought process was, I am going to go after these figure and bodybuilding girls. But my mindset was, there's not going to be a lot of good girls that are out there available, because they're already getting trained by Kimoto. And there was a new trend that was becoming very, very, very popular in the, we'll say, 2005 to 2010 range, of women wanting to put on muscle. It became cool for women to have muscle. It became completely different. I remember the trend as if it were yesterday, of women going into the gym, not being afraid to squat, not wanting pink dumbbells, not wanting their private room. They wanted to go and train hard. They wanted to be considered equals. They wanted to be better than men. And I will not lie, I also knew from a young age that I had a bit of a gift of gab when it came to ladies. I've had women tell me that I was charming my entire life, and I figured I could utilize this. So what did I do? I went to third call out girls. Why did I go to third call out girls? The first call out girls were already with Kimoto. The second call out girls I knew were so close, they were going to go to Kimoto. The third call out girls, who were your, let's say, 12th to 15th place competitors, or just outside, these were girls that were new, and they were wanting to get in and make a name for themselves, but I knew they needed direction. And I knew that I could go up to these women and say, hi, my name is PJ Braun. I am a bodybuilder. I went to school for exercise physiology and bodybuilding, and I would love to train you. I think you have a lot of potential. And here is my business card. I would like to prove myself to you by training you for your next show for free. I will give you all of me. And if you are happy with what I do, my only ask is that you tell your friends. So I got about a dozen girls, and I am not lying to you when I say almost every one of those girls went on and won their next show. I did this all for free. After they went on and won their next show, they started telling their friends. Word of mouth, guys. Word of mouth is the best way to market still. After all these years, you cannot beat word of mouth. So once that started getting busier and busier and I had to increase my prices, I realized that there was a lot of money in getting out there, but how? How could I get myself out there? At this point, Facebook had become a very popular thing. So I went on Facebook and I started talking about the clients that I was training. Now, back then, Facebook only had 5,000 friends as their limit. Now, no one has 5,000 friends, no matter how cool you are. No one has 5,000 friends. However, back then, before Facebook learned how to monetize things, you could get a lot of traction on your posts. I would post a picture and it would get literally thousands of views, hundreds and hundreds of comments. And when I realized this and I realized the value of Facebook, I thought to myself, I should start putting my clients on Facebook. So what I would do is I would post the people that won their shows. And I found that I would get questions quite a bit on why were these people winning shows? What did they do? What did they look like before? Well, these people were probably great. I could never look like that. So what I started asking people was, can I please use your before picture and your after picture? And if you don't mind, if you're happy with the way that I'm coaching you, would you mind writing a testimonial for me? Now, let's see if I still have this book here. Bear with me for a second, guys. Hold on. Let's see. All right, I would have loved to find it for you. I'll wind up posting it on Instagram, but I actually have a book of the old days before there was any Instagram of all my testimonials that people wrote for me. Now, these people did this for me because they were so proud of their own accomplishments. And when I would put these before and after testimonials onto the Facebook, they would get so many questions from people asking me, how can I do that? How can I do that? So I realized, wait a minute, there's a way to make money off this. So I would post my before and after, and I would say, if you want to figure out how I did this and figure out how you can do this as well, inbox me and I will sign you up for my training package. Well, what started happening was I was getting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people reaching out to me in a matter of one day saying they wanted to sign up. So I was taking them all on and I was thinking to myself, man, there's a lot of money to be made this way on Facebook. Now at this point, again, you're still limited to 5,000 friends. So Facebook did something that was brilliant. They opened up their subscribers. They allowed people to subscribe to your page. My old partner had said to me, you should start your subscription page. So I started up my PJ Braun, subscribe to my page, and believe it or not, guys, I wound up becoming one of the most popular bodybuilders very, very, very fast. And it blew our minds. My old partner said to me, this is crazy. I don't know what it is about you, but you actually have more subscribers than any of the guys that you're competing against. In fact, the only person that has more subscribers than you in the first month is Jay Cutler. All hail Jay. We love Jay. And it just kept on going up. So the very first month, I had about 30-something thousand subscribers. It wound up peaking around 77,000. So what I started doing on that subscription page was doing what is now called a call to action. I was ahead of the times with this. This was just something I had instinctively. But what I would say was, here's my latest before and after. If you want to find out how I did this and how it can happen to you, in the next 24 hours, I will take on 10 new clients. I will only take on 10 new clients. Inbox me right now to find out the details. I would not put a price out. What would happen was I'd get 15 people in my inbox and I would take every single one of them. Now at this point, the value there was so strong that I had to boost up my price. So eventually I peaked my pricing out, guys, for online coaching at $1,700 for a contest prep. Or it was $100 a week. So 12 weeks was $1,200. Now keep in mind, guys, this is going back to 2010, 2011. There's still no Instagram yet at the time. This is just Facebook. And I could not stay on top of the work. So to give you guys just some information on the numbers, in 3 years' time, just through Facebook and doing these Facebook ads and these Facebook testimonials, I was making over $100,000 a year just through my Facebook. It was set up through you could pay me through PayPal, and I took money like that. Now, in my third year, the last year that I did it, from January 1st to May, when I retired, that was 2012, I did $120,000 just through Facebook. Now, keep in mind, guys, with the amount of other things that you could do, there was so much little competition back then because people couldn't understand how you could do online coaching. I'm going to get into why this is important a little bit later because there is way more competition now. So $120,000 in 5 months' time just through Facebook from doing what is now called a call to action. Nobody was calling that back then. Facebook got very, very smart. Now, I also would like to say that in 2012, when Facebook got very smart and they also started to unfortunately lose their trend, Instagram started becoming popular. Now, Instagram in the beginning, guys, was just a photo sharing app. People would post photos and people would like their photos, right? So the last thing that I wanted to do at the time was get into another social media platform when I was already making so much money on Facebook. However, a number of people had told me, hey, Instagram is starting to become really big. You should put some stuff on Instagram as well. So I started putting my same content on Instagram, and what happened? It started going up. So we're going to fast forward a little bit because I could do at least an hour just on this. With what I had already done on Facebook to where I am now, what have I done? Well, I just told you how before there was any real social media other than Facebook that I made over $100,000 a year just through Facebook. This is before there was any ads, just on online coaching. Then Instagram came. We launched Blackstone Labs through Facebook and Instagram. Well, I launched Blackstone Labs in a spare bedroom in 2012 when I retired from bodybuilding. And in my very first year, with just one product, we did $200,000 in sales. My second year, we did 1.2 million in sales. My third year, we did 9.8 million in sales. My fourth year, we did 25 million in sales. Then many of you guys know we were rated by the FDA and we took a major hit. We actually dropped to only 7 million the following year. This is also when I ended up in the hospital because I was going through a very rough divorce. I was admittedly drinking a lot and I almost died. And we're not going to get into that whole story. It's out there. Watch the Muscle Mogul series on Generation Iron. I got out of the hospital. I came back. We went up 2 million the next year, and we went up another 2 million after that. We're still climbing our way back up. It's a much more competitive and volatile market now, but we're still doing it. Now, what else did I do in that time period? I started another company called Prime Nutrition, which in its first 5 months did $500,000 in sales. I started myself from the ground up another company called Celestial Bodies. Now, many of you probably remember Celestial Bodies. Now, at the time, I was dating and very much in love with a WWE wrestler. Her wrestling name was Caitlyn. Her real name was Celeste Bonin. Now, she was going through a really rough time on the WWE because essentially they just did not want her to be a face anymore. Okay, so I had told her, listen, you're upset, you're unhappy, let's start a business, let's use your name. You're a freaking TV star, what do you want to do? She said, I'm very passionate about clothing, and we talked about it a little bit, and I said, what do they do about your pants that you wrestle in the gym, that you wrestle on stage, that make your butt and waist look so good? And she said, well, I have a seamstress. Now, her seamstress has actually done stuff for Beyonce, some big name people. She said, I have a seamstress that put a ruching in the pants, which makes them scrunch up and make your butt look bigger. And I said, it's interesting, why have no one else done that with other clothing? And she said, well, it's very similar to what they do in the bikini competitions and the bikini girls. So now bikini had already started, and it was a thing. It was a couple years in. And so I said to myself, oh, the little scrunching that you see. And she said, if you look at a girl at the beach that doesn't have that scrunching, their butts kind of look like diapers, whereas the scrunching makes it look tighter. So I said, well, I am very, very good friends with a woman named Cynthia James, CJ's Elite Suits, who makes all of these suits for all these girls. So I said, give me your favorite pair of workout pants and let's bring it to Cynthia James. There's actually a video on YouTube about this, and see what she thinks. So she and I went together with a pair of La Bella Mafia pants that she liked a lot. I said to CJ, I would like to put that scrunching thing that you put in all the bikinis into these pants. She said, why do you want to do that? I said, I'd like to see what kind of difference it makes and what it looks like. Well, it took CJ 5 minutes to do it. Put the leggings on Celeste. CJ and I looked at each other and said, holy shit. It made her ass look dramatically different, dramatically better. She was a very quad dominant girl, didn't really have much of a butt, and now all of a sudden it looked like she had a beautiful round booty. So, what did we do to really highlight this? Well, I took $70,000 of my own money that I had saved up through years of fucking grinding, coming from nothing and saving my money, and I decided to invest it into starting this company because I believed so much in what this Booty Scrunch did. Now, to this day, take this however you want it, I still feel this was the greatest idea that I have ever had. So what I'm telling to you guys right now, I invented the Booty Scrunch. I invented the Booty Scrunch that you see in all of these leggings now. Now, here's the deal. When I thought this idea was so great, the first thing that I did was I hired a patent attorney. And what I found out, unfortunately, is getting patents in clothing is very, very, very difficult. You cannot get a patent for clothing unless you can prove that it's got a functionality that improves performance in some way. So, Nike Shocks, for instance, they were able to get scientists to come behind and say that this is going to improve your performance by doing this. Well, I spent about $10,000 trying to find a way to patent this. Now, there was nothing to it other than the fact that it was just a cool design, okay? So, their argument back on the attorney side was that somebody could put one or two more stitches in and say that ours is better. And you really couldn't do anything to argue that because it is simply just an appearance-based thing. There is no improvement on the functionality aspect of it. I tried really, really, really hard. In the end, what we did was we had a patent pending on it. And she eventually, I believe, trademarked the phrase, Booty Scrunch. And what we did was we went after a lot of companies and scared them with the patent pending, saying, you guys can't do this because we have a patent pending on it. In the end, it did not go through. But for about 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, we were the only company that had Booty Scrunch leggings. Now there are tons of companies that did that. So what did that company do? That company went from me investing $70,000. I started the LLC. The LLC was in my name, and we did 3.2 million in revenue by year number 3. And there was a lot that went into that. There was a lot of affiliate marketing. And again, I am telling the story to show you that I've done other things outside of just online coaching, outside of Blackstone Labs. I had stores. I did all sorts of other things. I had a company with Kai Green called Dynamic Muscle. I designed all the original products for that company. I helped design products for Rob and Dana Lynn Bailey's company. Their very first product. That was a product that I helped design based on ideas that Rob and Dana Lynn Bailey had. So you guys probably remember when they had released their company, they had their very first product. It was considered a life enhancer, and it was based around the fact that Rob liked drinking Monsters and Emergencies and wanted to put them together. I then started a company with Kendra Lust because I was passionate about the adult film industry, and I wanted to put out a product that would enhance male and female sex. So what was I doing? I was starting companies and building them around things that I liked, but also around the fact that I knew how to get attention on social media. So now that I have rambled on about things that I have done and why you should perhaps listen to me, I'm going to get into some key points on things that you should know yourself to get yourself out there and to make money on social media. Now you know who I am. There's many of you that already know. And if I wasted your time explaining who I am, I apologize. But this is part of the presentation on why you should listen to me. I'm not just some schmo doing things. Also, for those of you who weren't paying attention to the Blackstone Labs aspect of it, in 2016, we became the Inc. 500 27th fastest growing company in the United States. So what does that mean? For starters, if you make the 5,000, you get an award. If you make the 5,000 group, you get an award. Think about how many businesses are in your own hometown. Forget if you live in a big city. In your own hometown, let's say you live in a hometown that has 80,000 to 100,000 people living in it. Go down the street. There is business after business after business after business. There are literally millions of businesses. Think about the amount of businesses that are on the internet. So just to make 5,000 is a tremendous accomplishment. We were number 27th fastest growing in the United States. Just to give you some perspective, that same year, Orange Theory, which opened their 1,000th location, was number 60. Many of you will know who Orange Theory is. We were number 27. In health and fitness, there was only one company that was higher up on the list than us, and that is a billion dollar industry, by the way. The company that placed ahead of us does heart transplants. Amazing. You're not going to beat the company that is giving people new hearts and keeping them alive. So those are things that I have done and why I believe that you should listen to me. Now, there's a lot that went into what I've done, and I'm going to break it down for you guys. We have many different platforms. We've got Facebook, we've got Instagram, we have LinkedIn, we've got YouTube, we have TikTok, and now we have a monster called OnlyFans that I will get into at the end. Each platform has to be designed a different way. You must have individual content for each platform. If you're trying to put the exact same content on each platform, you are going to get lost in the mix. Now, if you are an individual that is marketing yourself, just an individual, not an overall business with many employees, although as a businessman, as an individual, as an influencer, you should treat yourself like a business. This is something that is extremely important for you to know. Extremely important for you to know. Please write this down. Please write this down of everything that I've said so far. Whether you're a business or individual, you must treat each platform individually as its own entity. You can't just think you can spam all these platforms in their own ways. Now, I'm going to go through some key points now, and then I'm going to talk about these key points in general detail, and then I'm going to answer all of your questions. Now, quick notes, bullet points from me on things that I wanted to make sure that you guys do. And then I'm going to go through and break them down. Things that must be done. You must include direct sales. With whatever platform that you're doing, you must include direct sales. Number 2, you must collaborate with relevant brands. Extremely important. You guys see me do it all the time. The Squeeze Me Skinny weight trainers, the Made to Macro food. Why are we doing this? I can get into all the explanations on this, but you must collaborate with relevant fans and relevant brands. You've got to establish an influencer program. Now, this can go into many directions, and I can get into a lot of detail on this. Again, I can do probably a whole hour at least on influencer programs, which are also considered affiliate programs. Next one, you've got to study your market and you've got to ask questions. You can't just think that you know everything. You've got to ask questions. You've got to study your market, do your market research, and learn who you're talking to. Big one. This is the most important one by fucking far. Videos dominate. They fucking dominate. Excuse my language. Videos dominate. And this can go into many of different directions. Whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. A lot of people will tell me, oh, YouTube is dead. I laugh at that because they're extremely wrong. You just have to know how to use your YouTube content the right way. Videos dominate. Why do they dominate? There is only so much that you can get across with just a photo. Yes, a picture is worth 1,000 words, but what are you going to put apart in that actual photo that gets people to listen to? Whereas if you just put a video out, even if it's 1 minute or if it's a 15-second story, you can grab their attention a little bit easier. So now that I've gone through that, I'm going to break down class by class where you've got to go with these different things. So when I said you've got to include direct sales, what does that actually mean? When you're putting out a Instagram video, for instance, or an Instagram post, many of you have seen the Shop Now feature or click now to learn more. These call to actions, that is a direct sale from what you're doing. Or if you're doing a YouTube video and you're attaching links, if you're saying, hey, if you're interested in this, here's a link below, click it to go and find out how to buy my coffee mugs, whatever. If you're going to post a story and you're going to say, hey, if you're interested, swipe up, click on this link, and you're going to figure out how to buy a story. Now, again, these are general, and I can get into way, way more than that, but this is how you include direct sales. Collaborating with relevant brands, what do you do? What do you specialize in that you could collaborate with other brands? So thank you very much, Vatoria. Am I saying it the right way? I always love trying to pronounce your name. I won't say your real name. But I am a friend and fan. So how do you collaborate with relevant brands? So in my space, I am in a space of fitness, hardcore fitness. It is a niche space. I want to own that space. I am not trying to be the biggest brand in the world. My old partner wanted to do that. There's a lot of responsibilities and things that go with trying to be the biggest that, to me, were not worth it. I love what I do. I wanted to stick to what I believe in. So what is in my space, what is a relevant brand that I could collaborate with? Well, let's put it like this. I have a lot of women that represent my brand. Now, women are going to be into things that are completely different than men in many ways. We're all using supplements, yes. But what is one thing that I've noticed that a lot of women care greatly about? They care a lot about their apparel. So I already had this fantastic line with the Booty Scrunch. I brought women's apparel into my line and I started selling it like crazy. I work with a lot of fitness models or women that are just going to be posting sexy, scandalous pictures in bikinis and lingerie all the time. So what did I do from there? I found a company, Motivated Swimwear, and she was doing bikinis. We started making bikinis together. That is a relevant brand when you're working with women that are involved in fitness and modeling. What else did I want to do that was relevant to what I was doing? Well, many, many women that are focused on fitness and training and modeling and building their own coaching business, what are they doing to get themselves out there? They're doing photo shoots. So what did I start doing? I brought Ryan Loco. I brought another guy back in the day, whose name I'm not going to say because, for lack of better words, he's a fucking scumbag. And I started doing tons of photo shoots with him. Part of the deal was I'm going to pay for the photo shoots. You can use the photos however you want. Where did that go? Well, that took us to orangutan. I realized that there was not anyone more influential than orangutan in this space. And you know what? He wasn't even specializing in fitness. In fact, he had never even been to the Arnold before. We worked out a deal this year where I was paying for their trip to the Arnold because A, I loved them and I knew that I was going to do a lot of business with my athletes there. But B, I knew there was going to be so many people that wanted to do photos with them that they were going to kill it. And they were going to make all this excess money and they were going to say to themselves, thanks, PJ. You've done 50 some odd photo shoots with me. Now we have all of these hundreds of other people in fitness that are starting to do what we want to do. I also do photos with Sean Nelson. I do photos with people that are relevant in my space. Where did I go from there? I noticed that all of these women are doing waist trainers. Everywhere I go, waist trainers are becoming a part of freaking life. They're becoming a part of outfits. My own girlfriend wears a waist trainer every day as part of her outfit when she goes to work. Now, many women also feel that it makes them feel better. It gives them back support, right? But they also feel that it is enhancing their shape. So what do? I found Squeeze Me Skinny. I know the owner, Danielle. She's a great, great, great girl. She's a sweetheart. A lot of people think that she has a resting bitch face. I told her that myself. I don't care about stuff like that. She's a doll. And I told her, hey, I would like to do something with you. Let's just start out with a couple hundred waist trainers. Let's put Blackstone Labs on them. The girls are wearing them anyway. They're going to post their pictures. They're going to see these waist trainers. They're going to see Blackstone Labs. This is just extra relevant marketing. Now, male or female, what do we all need to do? We all need to eat. So I made a partnership a couple years back with Fresh Meal Plan. The owner of Fresh Meal Plan lives in my very, very nice guy. He's cool as fuck. We decided to put together a plan where we were giving my top athletes free food in exchange for posts, which goes back to the affiliate program. We did this for about a year, and we realized that they weren't the best company as far as what we wanted to do. So when I split ways with them, what happened? Without exaggeration, I had 8 brands reach out to me right away saying, we'd love to do meals with Blackstone Labs. We'd love to have your athletes posting about meals. We'd love to have you posting about meals. So I tried all the food, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, a very large percent of it was fucking gross until I met Alexis from Made to Macro. Now, what I did was I studied her order history and found out she actually did buy products from Blackstone Labs. Now, one thing that's very important to me is I like doing business with people that have utilized my products, tried my products before, and wanted to see what my products could do. She made me some food, and it was very, very good. Now, she was a newer company, and I told her straight up, there were certain things about some of these foods that I did not love. And she said, tell me, I want to make them better. I want to make you happy. Well, let me tell you something. That response is absolutely what the world needs more of. You've got to be able to take constructive criticism. I do it all the time. I gave her a little bit of constructive criticism. The food that came back was absolutely stellar. I told everybody I'm going to partner up with this girl for 2 reasons. Number 1, she wasn't lying. She actually did use the products. Number 2, she makes goddamn good food and is open to criticism and making things better. You should always want to make what you're doing better. Well, what happened was we partnered up. Now her company has grown a lot. It's going to continue to grow. The food has gotten better and better. She has many other people posting behind her. And again, I'm just getting into what happens when you collaborate with relevant brands. Now, this is going to get into the subject that I could potentially talk the most about. Establishing influencer programs. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean going out and getting superstars like I did over the years? What is a superstar? Some of you will say, I think the ab chick is a superstar. I do. Some of you might think, I think that Kristen Graham is a superstar. I do. Some people might think that Cody Montgomery is a superstar. I do. Now, I made a mistake in the beginning of simply going after the people that had the biggest fucking followings. If you had 2 million followers, boom, I was going to bring you on. You were going to influence my company because you had 2 million people, right? If you had 2 million people and you were talking about Blackstone Labs, then boom, this has got to be great for me. I learned the hard way that that is a failure, and we're going to get into that in a second. I started realizing that the power is in organic following. Who your influencers are talking to, are they asking questions, what they're doing with their following, because you've got to treat every follower like a real person, like somebody that you know. Now, there are analytics and things that are done. I'm not going to shout out any names, but there are people that are very smart with this. There are people that have, let's say, 9 million followers on Instagram. And you'll notice a lot of people will say, oh my God, so-and-so liked my picture. So-and-so thumbs up to my picture. Have you ever noticed that they always just like or thumbs up to your picture? The thumbs up is a very, very important and key one. You know who's amazing at that? Be Real from Cypress Hill, who hasn't had a hit song in 20 years, but he's very, very involved in social media because he throws that thumbs up on every picture. Now, what most influencers have realized and figured out, let me plug this back in here, is that the analytics make people go back and forth. So, what does that mean? This is a little trick for you guys. If you take the time to go and just throw a thumbs up on other people's pages that have large followings, Instagram recognizes that you guys are affiliated with each other and starts putting you into each other's homepages and timelines. It is a trick. It is an absolute trick, but it does in many ways work. Now, what is far more important than that? Actually going and writing and conversing back and forth with these people and starting these relationships, because not only are you taking advantage of the algorithm, but you are building relationships with these people. A lot of people say to me, hey, how did you get Jesse Cakes to go and become one of your judges for the BPJ? And I tell them, this blows most of their minds, I just asked her. As simple as that. You don't know unless you try. Now, there are many people that are just afraid to go out there and do that. You've got to have a thick skin. You've got to be able to accept rejection, be turned down, but you've got to be able to have this thick skin and go out and keep on trying. I can take this all the way back to when I first started Blackstone Labs. When I first started Blackstone Labs, I went on Google and I broke down areas. I would type in supplement stores in New York City. I would pick up the phone. I would say, hi, my name is PJ Braun. I'm president of Blackstone Labs. I have a product that I would love you guys to try. And most of the time, they would hang up. Sometimes I would get to the point where they would say, can I order you through Europa? I would say, no, you can order it right through me. They would hang up there. But there were the ones that decided that they wanted to take a chance. I knew that my product were good. You get in there. That's how you make it work. But I got fucking hung up on, guys, 90% of the time. 90% of the time I got hung up on, but it didn't matter. I just kept on going to the next one. I didn't think that I was better than anybody. I didn't think these people were assholes for not listening to me. I just went out there and made it happen. Now, we're getting to the end of the main points that I wanted to talk about, and then we'll go into each platform. I said videos dominate. I'm going back to that again because you can get so much more accomplished in a video than you can in a photo because people don't want to take the time to read your long ass shit. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you should do that. And guys, sometimes I write some long ass heartfelt shit. And when I do that, I do it for my true organic following because I know that they want to read it. But here's the thing. Most people don't want to fucking read that shit. And even my people in my circle that know me and love me the most, do you want to know what they fucking tell people? They tell people, if you want to work with PJ, if you want to get in with PJ, if you want to talk to PJ, just give him bullet points. He doesn't want to hear all the ins and outs. Give him the bullet points so he can decide right away whether he's interested or not, then you guys will build a reputation and you'll talk about a lot more. There is too much time in the day for me to hear your whole fucking story, and I'm sorry if that's mean. Give me the bullet points and I will decide from there where I want to go. And this is why videos are so freaking important, because you can accomplish a lot in a video. All right. Now, platform by platform, and if I get cut off, we will start back over again because I know I have only an hour. Facebook as a business owner is tremendously powerful. It is tremendously powerful, but you've got to have a little bit of money to spend on creating ads. We were using Stitcher for a long time. There's also Facebook, the business side of Facebook, business.facebook.com, that has teams that do this for you. Now, it all started out with just simply paying to promote a post and creating audiences. But now, with these different services, if you're a business owner, you can put your content out to people that need to see it. So here's the deal. I'm going to go back to the hot girl comment. You see a hot girl, she has 9 million followers, right? And there's a lot of companies that are paying these hot girls because they're like, yo, look how many followers that they have. They're going to get my brand out there. But the reason they have so many followers is because guys love looking at hot girls, and that is fucking it. No one is listening to what they're saying. And if you're a super hot girl, which many of you are, you're still hot, but you better have something to say, because no one is listening to you. No one is fucking listening to you. They're just looking at you and they're liking you to let you know, I think you're hot, and then they're moving on. Sometimes you might put something out that they want to read. Same thing if you're a sexy guy with a great body and you're standing sexy. There's a lot of gay men, there's a lot of women, and there's a lot of people that would like to look at you that are going to like say, whoa, I like what that looks like. Boom, they're going to click on it and go from there. How do I know that this is relevant and true? Because I have had a point where if all of my Prime Nutrition and Celestial Bodies people posted at the same time, I could cover 13 million followers in one shot. And guess what? We never really did shit, with the exception of Tana Ashley, who to this day is the most valuable athlete that I've ever had. She went out and did her own thing and became a really, really big deal. Outside of that, most of these people, I'm not going to freaking call them out and say their names, but most of these people with 2 million followers, 3 million followers, 5 million followers could not even generate 8-9 sales in a month with their coupon codes. This is why I stopped paying them and getting rid of them. My number one coupon code earner for women, if you want to know who it is Jenna Geary. Go follow her. She's awesome. She's inspirational. She's smart, and she's figured it out. People listen to what she's saying. She's influential, and they follow what she has to say. My number one most valuable as far as coupon code sales goes is Jenna Geary. Now, I can also digress a little bit and tell people, don't get so caught up in the actual coupon code sales, because you can't put a value on straight relevance and getting the appearance out. So what I mean by that is, if you're getting 10 million people to see your name or your ad, you're still burning it into their brains, okay? You're still burning it into their brains. And yes, sex does sell. So Facebook targeted ads is huge. If you are a business owner, we are like snipers with our Facebook ads. I had a gentleman come up to me in the post office parking lot, and he said to me, I see the Blackstone Labs in your car. I gotta know. I've never purchased any of your products, but I'm seeing your ads constantly everywhere I go online. I said, you probably clicked on something on Facebook and you got into our funnel and now you're into our targeted program. And the guy said, is that a service that you're using or is it in-house? I said it was in-house. He said, wow, tell those guys I am still just blown away at how much content I have seen from them. I said that is a tremendous compliment. I will tell them. This is a guy that never bought anything from Blackstone Labs, but was seeing our content everywhere that he went. YouTube. There is a style to make YouTube work. The style to make YouTube work is vlogging. Bloggers, guys, were the original influencers, people that were blogging on Google. SEO companies were paying big monies to get these backlinks and links hooked up to these websites just for bloggers that were getting paid $50, $75, $100 just to write about something because the blogging was so valuable. Well, now YouTube is able to make money on vlogs. So if you want to go out and make a value to yourself on YouTube, the vlogging style is how you get it in. But you've got to vlog consistency, and people don't want to see you talk for an hour. 3 to 5 minutes, you can get a lot done. 7 minutes, you can get a lot done. You've got to be consistent with it. You can't feel like a failure if you haven't gotten big views on your first few videos because it takes consistency. TikTok. TikTok became fucking huge. Now, TikTok at first was just a bunch of young kids dancing. I told one of my girls, the real Fit Brit, that you should go start a TikTok page. She's a very cute girl. She had been with Blackstone Labs for about 4 years and only had a few thousand followers. She took my advice. She went out and did the TikTok, and guess what? She got 100,000 followers in the first month. She got up to 300,000 followers within a matter of 3 months. She said to me, I would really like to start pursuing modeling. So I said to her, and now I'm segueing from my TikTok into OnlyFans. And yes, there's stuff that I could do with LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is really more specific for business. I'm getting more into individual stuff. So once she got really big on TikTok, the TikTok stuff that you can share to your stories started bringing people back to her Instagram. And what happened was that Instagram started going more and more. I said to her, you should throw out some real modeling photos now. Get that professional stuff out there so people know more about who you are. So I flew her down here. I set her up with her first real photo shoot was with orangutan. And then her second real photo shoot was with Ryan Loco. Took that content, blasted it out everywhere. Now, one thing that I do for my girls is I give them the content, right? Well, you go on orangutan and next thing you know, you're going to get 500 followers just from being there, right? So what happens was she started getting approached by OnlyFans. And I'd like to really get into OnlyFans, but I'm going to be a little bit more general about OnlyFans. OnlyFans is the hottest and most powerful way to make money right now. And it all comes down to what you want to do, how much you want to put out, and yes, sex sells. That's not the only way to make money on OnlyFans, but sex sells. How much of yourself are you comfortable putting out there? Some people are only going to put out their sexy photo shoot stuff. But here's the deal. If you're going to throw it up on Instagram and not get shit out of it and not try to turn it into a business, why not put it out on OnlyFans and find a way to generate some sort of money over these photos? Call it your exclusive content that's too hot for Instagram and get people following you there. Use your followers on TikTok, on Instagram to get you over to OnlyFans. Now, here's the deal. Many of you are putting out sexy ass shit on Instagram, guys and girls. I got guys putting themselves sexy photo shoots out of the shower. You can see the fucking head of your dick. Girls, you can see see-through nipples, things like that. You're putting it out for free. Why would you not go and take that and monetize it on OnlyFans? Now, I have been studying OnlyFans for a while, and I promise you this, I'm not saying it out of my ass. About 4 years ago, I was so disappointed with the amount of really, really hot girls that we had that were posting their asses and their tits all day, but not doing any posts for Blackstone Labs. And most of them were crying poverty. I'm like, well, why don't you take this adult content that you're doing and put it out there? At a point, there was Patreon and things like this, Cam Soda, where girls were starting to make a little bit of money. Then they figured out they could do it on OnlyFans. Now there are management services that are managing these girls on OnlyFans, taking as much as 30% of the profit. What are they doing? Shit that I was already doing for free. Paying for photoshoots, helping them get followers, generating it. And what you're putting out on OnlyFans is what you yourself are comfortable with doing. You don't want to do nude? You don't have to. You're okay with showing your boobs? Have people pay to see them. You want to show a little bit more? Guess what? If you've got a following and people are admiring you in that sense, and you're okay with it, make money on it. Don't just waste your time with it. We are now starting, it's a separate LLC through Blackstone Labs. We are starting a management service for OnlyFans, men and women. Now, some of the girls I'm already doing right now, I'm not going to say their names. Some of the girls that work for Blackstone Labs are casually making $3,000 to $5,000 extra dollars on OnlyFans without doing shit. Some of them are making $10,000 to $12,000. One of them is literally making $100,000 a month on OnlyFans, and another one, I'm not going to say her name, is going to clear about $4 million on OnlyFans this year. I am not lying, and I will say that I am a little bit jealous because I've put a lot into it and I did it for free, but I'm happy for her. She's a great, great girl. Is she doing sexually explicit content? Yes, she is, but she's completely okay with it. And she's making a shitload of money. You're making money over what you're okay with doing. I have a lot of married couples that are making big ass money on OnlyFans doing what they were doing at home anyway. Why not? Don't be judging so hard on others when you're not in their house, you don't know what they're doing, and you might be doing some weird stuff yourself, guys. Come on. You might be doing some weird stuff yourself. How many of you have sent nudie pictures to somebody on Instagram before? If you haven't, you're probably lying. People have said to me, oh, PJ Braun will fucking send his dick pic out to you. Yes, I will. I'll send a video. You guys have seen shit before. I don't care. I'm a very open person. If I wasn't in the position that I'm in with my whole FDA suit, I wouldn't care about putting that out there on OnlyFans. It's just another revenue stream. There are many, many ways to make money in this day and age. And now that the world is shut down and we're moving into a different direction with our lives, guys, we're moving into a different direction with our lives. So much is done at home. You've got to figure out a way to monetize what you can do at home. And you shouldn't worry about who's judging who. What is the saying? Let he who is without sin cast the first stone, right? Give me a break. Give me a break. We're moving into a more honest and open world. Worry about yourself. Don't worry about so many else, okay? There is a lot to be said. If you were somebody, if you were a woman or a male that's generated a large following based on the fact that you're sexy and you have not done shit with it, this is a good way for you to segue into money. Now, I want to answer a lot of questions. I want to answer anything that you guys have for me on this because there is still so much more that you can do If I wanted to take one strong bullet point from this, it would be to treat each individual platform differently. And if you are one person, you should focus on one. Which one is it going to be? They've all become far more competitive. They've become far more competitive. I have a lot of people trying to do the same things as me as Blackstone Labs. One of the things that I do that I excel at is I get out there first. My ideas get out there first. And you've got to do this with whatever you do. Now, the other bullet point that I want to say is you've got to treat your followers like real people. Whether it is YouTube, whether it is Instagram, whether it's Facebook, I've seen people fucking fail miserably, and this is why they don't have sponsors. And I'm not going to talk shit, but I'll throw Dexter Jackson's name out there right now. Why does he not have a supplement sponsor? It's because although he's one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time, he's not interacting with anybody in a way that he has influence anymore. He's just somebody that was a legendary bodybuilder. He had great genetics. He lasted for a long time. Kudos for him. You know what the value is? People that are going back and forth, talking to their followers, understanding what they want, asking questions. Learn your market, do market research, ask these questions.